In this video I'm just going to be going over how to clean up and polish your casts, and I'm also going to be going over a few of the things that I've learned along the way, so sort of how to make hybrid prints and some of the problems that I ran into, which obviously if you try anything like this you're probably going to run into those problems as well. And I'm also going to show you a new supplier of lead-free pewter and how to turn the larger bars into smaller bars in a little tiny pan. So after my initial video, I tried to do a few more casts. So I redid the top half of this mould and I made a smaller one as well, and everything didn't work out so well. Every time I tried to pour a new mythosaur, it didn't matter which one I was doing, they just turned out the same. They had no tusks, so each time you took the mould apart, the tusks would come down to about here, and that was because the air was trapped. And the reason why the air didn't get trapped on the first video was because I'd never poured pewter before, so I poured it really slowly because I was nervous, and that meant it took a while to fill up this middle section, and it sort of trickled over the side and the air was able to escape. But anything that's like you try to cast that's got thin areas, you are going to have to put somewhere for the air to escape, otherwise it's not going to fall down there. So for this mould, if I wanted to cut the mould to solve the problem, I would cut a channel down here and up to the top, and that's just so that the air's got somewhere to go as the pewter's falling in. But I also found that if you tilt the mould slightly, instead of the pewter falling straight down, it falls against the back wall and then fills the mould up and gives the air somewhere to escape. And when I started to tilt the moulds, that's when I got the complete cast. Another problem that I had was each time I'd do a cast, the details would look a bit mangled and the surface would be pitted rough, sometimes sort of crusted, and that's because I wasn't powdering the mould. So powdering the mould, it's just exactly what it sounds like. You could take some baby powder, and you just want to work that around the mould. And that's just going to make sure that you get a nice smooth finish on your cast. The hybrid print, which is just to save pewter, because I only wanted part of this real metal, I didn't want the whole print done in metal. So what I did was I made a bung and I blocked off the area that I didn't want filling up. So once I made my mould, I cut my air channels, I placed a bung in the mould at the wrist section to stop it from filling up with pewter, and then I filled it up from this section, and it filled the blade, and it pushed the bung back a little bit, but it did the job and stopped the pewter from filling up the arm. Once it had cooled down, I then clamped the mould shut again and poured epoxy resin from this side, and yeah, I've got a half and half. So totally sturdy, it's not going to break or snap off or anything. Like I say, this is just good if you wanted real metal parts on your model. Another thing I'll just say before I move off moulds is if you want to turn these into, if you want to make like keyrings or pin badges or anything like that, rather than just gluing the pin onto the back somewhere with some glue, you can insert the pin into the mould, and then when you make the cast, it'll have a little bit more of a professional look. So it won't necessarily stick to the mould. You're still going to be using a bonder to bond it, but it'll have a proper place to bond it to, as opposed to just picking a spot and you'll be able to see the glue. And the same goes for keyrings. So you want to take the little tiny screw piece off the end, cut a little slit in the top or the back, wherever, and just shove that in so that you've just got the screw inside there. So I found a new supplier of pewter, and they supply in either large bricks or what he calls treasure bricks. He does charge a little bit more for the smaller bars, just because they're a bit more of a pain in the ass to pour and make. But his prices are very, very good anyway. So this is a 397 gram bar, and I only paid £8.90 or something like that for this one. Yeah, it might have been £8.80 or something like that, and it's £1.99 delivery. The bar before that was 370 grams, and I paid £8.50 for that one, and again £2 delivery. So really, really reasonable. And if you want to do multiple units of the same piece, so you want the same colour. So basically when you buy pewter, you can have it like, sometimes it can come more of a greyish colour, sometimes it comes really, really shiny, like chrome, and then sometimes it can have sort of a rosy tint to it. It all depends on who's melted it down and what's gone into the mould at the time. Because some people source their tin from tin cans, and I'm not sure if they melt the lids as well, and that gives it like, I've had it with like a pinkish tint to it. So obviously you want continuity if you're going to be producing something like a dragon or multiple units of the same model. So this guy can actually pour up to 2 kilos. So if you give him a message and say I actually need 2 400 gram bars, he can make sure that you get 2 400 gram bars that came from the same pour. So they'll be identical when you melt them down. And you're not going to end up with one tone for one leg and one tone for the other leg. So I'll leave a link to his eBay store. So whenever you buy large bricks like this, it takes a lot more heat to melt this down. It's not going to be nice and quick like it is with these small ingots. And you can see the problem. Yeah, it's not going to fit. So you can buy a bigger pan, but at the same time I don't really need a bigger pan until I do start doing bigger objects. So, and depending on what pans you're using at home is whether or not you have this problem, I guess. But to get around this, basically what I did was made sure that I had a stick and some pliers on hand, so I can move the block from the pan. And what you want to do is just heat up this section and then remove the rest, remove the block, and just leave it to one side. Just don't touch it, obviously. So you're going to heat it up from this end and just keep a hold of this end with the pliers, and then pour it into the mould and make some smaller ingots. And my friend wants one of these, so I'm going to pour one of these. I just start at the corner and wait for it to start to change colour. Like I say, it's going to take a while for the heat to transfer all the way up the block. So now we just need to heat the rest of this up again. So you don't want that crap. That's slag. So I don't make up the terms. Just want to make sure you've got a good grip on it. There you go. Round 2. I'm just going to try and scrape some of that off the top. As you can see, each time you do a cast you get this crap. So if you keep messing up your cast, then you have to keep recasting, and that's when you end up wasting money. Ooh, they are hot. Damn. Those molds are toasty. just going to let the rest of it fall in. If you are using a copper or metal board, don't touch it like I did because it's hot. Very hot. I'd recommend using like a wooden board or something for this. And we'll do the rest on the next ball. So this is a tiny mould that I made. You don't need ingots this small, but I just did it for fun. Got rid of it. You can use beeswax on the inside of your pan to stop things sticking to it as much as they do mine, but it just has to be small. So that's how to break down your blocks into smaller blocks. It's still warm. And these will melt down so much faster. And it's easier to work out what you're going to need as well. So you could look at his leg and say, yeah, I'm going to need 2 of these. And then you just heat up 2 bricks. Yeah. Let's see if I've got a cast or not. I actually have a complete cast. Groovy. And it's worked with a pin. Beautiful. So there's my pin for my pin badge. Need to clean them up a little bit. And this is actually welded to it, man. That's not coming off. So pin badge. Might need to grind a little bit off the back of the skull here. I don't think these will go through that bit. Because it's still a little bit warm, you see. It might go through it. that it won't kink the fabric of whatever you pin the badge to. So once you're ready to start polishing, you're going to want the silver polishing bit. It's just the silver bristles. This one's about dead, but about gone through this bit. So watch these bits because you're going to get bits flying off. Don't go too crazy with that first polish because you're going to be using the grinding tools next. So that's the blue ones. Sometimes you're better off with a cylinder shaped one, so I'll just go and get that now. So I'm going to use this one to grind off this back bit. The blue ones are better for this sort of thing. They're made for metal. Oh, it's melting the glue. I'll switch to the blue one. So with this bit, you want to get any of the mould lines, so that's where there's a line from the mould, obviously. Switch to this pointed one just to get into the smaller gaps. Could do just a little bit of Next, I'm just going to do the eye sockets a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy on the eye sockets because no need. They're going to be covered with black wash, but just a little bit with this one will do. Flipping hell. So that's the 80 grit. These burn down quite fast, as you can see, and make a mess. So I need to clean up after this. Next one, I go 240. Just about killed that one. So I need to clean up this mess, but yeah, there you have it, people. How to polish and make a pin badge. So you can add, like I say, a little bit more of a sheen to this by using some of the polishing medium, but I'm going to wait till I've added a wash and see what it looks like first. So yeah, I hope that you find some of that useful. I'm going to try and chop it down as much as I can. I'll leave links to where you can get these from. They do make quite a bit of mess, I must say, but I need to clean up anyways. I will leave it there. And I will catch you on the next video.